Israel is killing civilians in Gaza on purpose, and it's not even debatable. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. Just so we're all clear, it is a fully established fact that the IDF is directly, deliberately killing civilians in Gaza. There was a time in the early days of the genocide when this could be disputed, but that is no longer true. The facts are in and the case is closed. It's happening. Israeli soldiers are telling the press that they've been knowingly killing civilians and then falsely categorizing them as terrorists afterward. Countless doctors have testified to routinely encountering dead and wounded children who've been shot in the head by Israeli snipers. Israeli media reports have revealed that the IDF is intentionally targeting civilian infrastructure and using AI systems to specifically target suspected Hamas members when they are at home with their families instead of out on the battlefield. The debate is over. The human shields argument has been completely, thoroughly debunked. If you still deny that this is happening, it's because your worldview is so false that it requires you to deny facts and reality. We were fed lies about what happened on October 7th. We were fed lies about the Israeli abuses which led to October 7th. We've been fed lies about what's been done for the last 15 months under the justification of October 7th. And yet Israel's defenders still expect to be taken seriously when they babble about October 7th in response to criticisms of Israel's actions. There's a tweet from Eye on Palestine. Massive bombardments in real time as Dr. Hussam Abu Safia speaks about the explosive robots detonated 50 meters from Kamal Adwan Hospital, large drones dropping 20-kilogram explosives on nearby homes, and smaller drones targeting any movement near the hospital. Comment from Caitlin. Your periodic reminder that human beings are being used as laboratory guinea pigs for field testing nasty new weapons systems in Gaza. It doesn't have to be this way. We're fed mountains of stories by the rich and powerful explaining why things must remain as they are, but they are only stories. Every socio-political status quo throughout history has had power-serving narratives explaining why things are as they are and justifying why the people in charge live so much more comfortably than the ordinary folks doing the real work in this world. People used to be told that kings received their authority directly from God and were therefore better and more worthy than the unwashed masses. Today we have different rulers with different narratives justifying their rule and explaining why vast inequality is fine and good. But those narratives are exactly as fictional as the old stories about the divine right of kings. Today we are trained to believe that the plutocrats who rule our society attained their vast fortunes through hard work and clever innovation, and are entitled to every penny because they are the most productive members of our society. Just as the peasants of old were taught about the divine right of kings, we are taught that capitalism is the most fair and equitable of all possible systems, and that the U.S.-led world order ensures that freedom and democracy will be protected and promoted for the benefit of all. These are all made-up stories, no truer than the story that monarchs were imbued with magical king powers by an invisible deity because their blood was special. But they are treated as serious facts by those who are responsible for training us how to think, and by those who swallow this indoctrination. In reality, we can change how things are whenever we want, and there's no good reason not to. There are a whole lot more of us than there are of our rulers, and the oligarchs and empire managers who currently hold the steering wheel are destroying our biosphere while increasing inequality and exploitation and pushing us toward nuclear war on multiple fronts. We have the ability to wrest that steering wheel away from them anytime enough of us work up the will to do so. All the stories to the contrary we might believe are just fictional thought fluff that our rulers put in our minds for their own benefit. There's nothing wrong with being politically homeless at this point in history. Humanity as a whole is still wildly confused and dysfunctional in this particular slice of space-time, and even the very best political factions are dominated by highly neurotic people who take no responsibility for their psychological state and internal clarity. If you have found a political party or faction you trust, then that's great. But if you haven't, then it is perfectly fine to stand as an individual while throwing your support behind worthy causes and movements on a case-by-case basis as they emerge, without permanently hitching yourself to anyone else's wagon. We have still got a long way to go in maturing as a species, and it might be a while before a unified political faction arises that you can trust to consistently move in the highest interest.